What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader here in beautiful Lake Tahoe, doing some snowboarding. In this video, I'm going to be giving you my top penny stocks for March 2021, and we'll also revisit some of the penny stocks that I went over from February 2021. Obviously, we're in a market downturn, but how did those penny stocks do before we had the pullback? And whether those penny stocks are still valid or not, I will give you my opinion on those as well and give you my trade ideas for these top penny stocks. You definitely want to stick around in order to see that. So if you get anything out of this video, leave it a big fat thumbs up just like this. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these penny stocks you are trading. And if there's something not on my radar, also let me know. I love hearing from you guys. Sign up if you want access to our trading group where I send out all of my trades. Link is in the description below. Almost 5,000 traders in our group. I thank each and every one of you. And without further ado, let's get right into it.
All right, guys, so just to get something out of the way, the SEC actually put a halt on 15 penny stocks. One of them is Blue Sphere Corporation, or BLSP. I've talked about this before, so I just wanted to put this on your radar. I've talked about that stock before, but I just wanted to put this on your radar just so that you're in the know. I'll leave a link in the description and I'll put a screenshot here. You can pause it if you want to check which ones are halted. I believe they're halted until March 11th or March 12th. Yeah, March 11th, 2021. So just be aware of that. If you hold any of these or were interested in getting into them, you cannot buy them. I believe you could still sell them, which is crazy because it creates this downward pressure like GameStop and like the GameStop Robinhood situation. So these are the 15 stocks currently on halt. All right, so from my February penny stocks video, I had Sundial, CRNT, POAI, AQMS, FTFT, ABML, CLSN, ALPP, ASTI, and AITX. There may be some overlap between that list and this list because the penny stocks right now, that some of the penny stocks that I'm really interested in are back at prices that I think are optimal due to the recent market drawdown. Now, in terms of the drawdown, I'm on record as saying that I don't think we will enter another bear market. The US stock market doesn't have a habit of entering back-to-back bear markets. And once the bull market starts, we've never not had a multi-year bull market. Plus, vaccinations are increasing. We're on the verge of releasing another stimulus package, and the economy is looking good to reopen by summer. Not a full reopening probably, but a strong reopening by summer of 2021. Jobs are coming back. So I personally don't think we will enter bear market territory. You know, all these YouTubers are going hyperbolic, calling this the end, right? But for you new traders, a bear market is 20% or more of a drawdown in the overall market. I think we could get to correction territory. We could still be there, even though we will likely see green on the hopes of stimulus passing this week. But yeah, so in terms of the last penny stock list, we could take a look at a few of them and give you an update because I like to be transparent with you guys. So I did that video on February 4th. ALPP rose 110% before drawing down. It actually did an offering as well. It is back at the 21 EMA. I love this stock. And that's another thing. I want you guys to know what your investment horizon is when entering these positions. I feel like a lot of times people just buy something and they don't know whether they're going to hold it long term, whether they're going to play in the short term. And if something draws down in the short term, or you know, say you're up 110% and something is now retracing and you lost your profits, or your unrealized profits, I should say, folks tend to get really discouraged by that. And I think it's because you need to really practice on knowing what your investment horizon is. If you are only buying these things for the short term and you care about short-term profits, learn how to set stop limit orders and trailing stop limit orders. That will be to your benefit because as something rises, if you're now up 100% and you really want to protect that, then set a stop limit for what is the limit that you are willing to risk in order to keep your profit. So if you're up 100% and you really want to protect 80% of those profits, you would set a stop limit at 20%. Now, if you're a long-term investor and you don't care, then obviously, yes, you buy and hold at the optimal levels. Whether it goes up or goes down in the interim, you don't care because you're banking on a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year time horizon, and you think that these stocks will be worth infinitely more than they are today. So just keep that in mind. CLSN was another one that since the video that I did on February 4th went up 141%, has retraced. It's still up from where we bought it, but if you didn't set a stop limit and you were holding this for the long term, that's fine. If you want to protect profits, you set stop limits on these things. I did send out an alert in our private trading group about the potential of a market drawdown and the fact that I was going to be setting stop limits on some of these risky penny stocks. FT was another one that we made over 100% on, and it has now drawn down to the 50-day moving average. I really like this stock as well. This is a blockchain fintech company based out of Asia. ASTI was just a monster for us. From that video, we made 360%. It is now drawn down, again, still up. And if you had set a stop limit, you could have protected your profits, or you would just hold this for the long term. But Ascent Solar is now trading at around 4 cents, back at the 21 EMA. Still, in my view, for the short term or long term, an optimal position. Predictive Oncology, POAI, this one gained around 86% before drawing down. And it's also important to know that these drawdowns are not specific to the stocks. Like, these stocks didn't draw down because there was some bad news about, every single one of these pennies. They were just following the market trajectory and the fact that we were in pullback territory leading up to a correction. NASDAQ almost hit correction territory, which is 10% or more of a drop. I think it was around 8% and change, but didn't quite get there. All right, the first stock on the list is POAI. I've talked about this stock before. You guys, if you're not new to the channel, you know that I have a love affair with POAI. Predictive Oncology is a stock that I'm ultra bullish on, and it is back at an optimal level here. It is just above the 21 EMA. Now, what I like about Predictive Oncology is obviously the AI aspect that comes along with the discovery of cancer-related drugs as well as remedies. There is no other company that is doing what they are doing based on the reading and the DD that I've done. They recently did an offering and we saw a price dilution due to that. And we are now back at around $1.55. I believe this thing can go over $2 in the short term. But again, I'm bullish on this stock in the long term as well. So this is not just a short term play. All right, stock number 2 is CLSN, or Celsion Corporation. This is one that was in the last video, but it is now back to an optimal buy point again at the 21 EMA. Their ovarian cancer study has been fast-tracked by the FDA, so we are waiting on FDA approval on this, and I think there's a lot more upside here to potentially double in the short term, or short to midterm, I should say, pending that FDA approval. They also formed a vaccine advisory board as well, trying to merge into a business vertical that they're not associated with currently. So they are trying to expand their offering. All right, penny stock number 3 is a 5G play. This is GSAT. Global Star Inc. GSAT is the ticker symbol, again back at the 21 EMA. This is a 5G play, and the reason that they initially jumped back here in February is because of news that Qualcomm was going to be using them in their new 5G modems. Another thing from a fundamental standpoint that interested me about GSAT is actually their growth profit margin. If you look at their graph, they are increasing their growth profit margin year on year, which is something that you want to see from a small growth company, especially one that is looking to work with a larger entity like Qualcomm in an infant industry, which is 5G. All right, stock number 4 on this list will come as no surprise for you. ABML back on the list, since it is now back at the 50-day moving average. Now, when I alerted ABML on I didn't alert it on February 4th. I actually alerted it here where the yellow arrow was in our group when it was around $1.30. But I did a video when I did that last penny stocks video in February. That was around February 4th, and we actually saw a decline from there. So this one did not rise from the making of that video. However, I was saying that ABML for me was a long-term holding. Now that it is back at the 50-day moving average, it is even more compelling. You guys know how bullish I am on rare earth metals mining, especially for 2021 and beyond. I actually found this article here saying that the market for rare earth metals is expected to grow 10.8% all the way through to 2026 because they are used by two industries that are booming right now, EVs as well as clean energy. And there are so many facets within rare earth metal mining. You have the recycling, you obviously have the mining aspect of it, but you also have the recycling aspect of it where they are looking to mine rare earth metals from old deprecated batteries, for instance, or old drill bits. So this, for me, especially a company like ABML that has its hand in both mining as well as recycling, is a long-term play for me. ABML currently sits at around $2.60. As long as it maintains the 50-day moving average here, which currently is around $2.3, $2.4, then I'm okay holding this, and I would be okay holding this for the mid to long term. I think this one could double up in 2021 relatively easily. All right, stock number 5 on the list, SOS Limited. If you guys are familiar with blockchain, you might be familiar with this company. This company is a new entrant into the cryptocurrency space. Now, the reason that I like SOS here is because I really like buy the fear situations. If you guys don't know, Hindenburg already came out with their famous short reports, but with those Hindenburg reports, especially as of late, after the initial drawdown, right, after the initial drop or sell-off from those reports, you tend to see then a resurgence in that company, especially after some facts and some news come out that refute what Hindenburg's reports say. Now, it's curious because Hindenburg reports do seem like a great opportunity for the company in this case being Hindenburg, to short a stock and then buy it cheaper. I mean, I'm not saying that there's any funny business going on there, but it seems like a lucrative business opportunity. Maybe we should start a shorts report business. I don't know. However, I do like after the sell-off, this huge sell-off that you see here, all the way almost to the 50-day moving average. Actually, SOS lost, in terms of its value, lost almost 75% of its value in 2 weeks. So I like these buy the fear situations, and they're not only involved in cryptocurrency mining, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they are also looking to venture out into crypto insurance, crypto loans, and other cryptocurrency related financial services, kind of a disruptor, a blockchain disruptor like FTFT, which is currently booming and was on our last penny stocks list. But I do like SOS here. This was recently trading at $15, currently at around $6.82, just to get back to its previous price point, which I think is very doable. And I would hold this stock as long as it remains above the 50-day moving average. All right, stock number 6 is more of a short-term play, TRCH, or Torchlight Energy Resources. Now, one of the only shining attributes of this company is that it recently went debt-free, as you could see here by this article. Now, from a technical, I like this stock more from a technical standpoint than a fundamental standpoint. However, they did recently do an offering, which I like to see because, as you know, that brings the price down. So getting in after the offering is definitely more optimal than getting caught holding the bag. But it's currently trading above the 21 EMA. It is following a pretty steady trend line, and I would not mind an entry into TRCH based on technicals alone. Even if you didn't like the fundamentals or know much about the fundamentals, you can trade it just based off of this trend line and set a stop limit below your entry. Now, it's currently trading at around $2.70. It has an opportunity to get back to close to the $5 range if it maintains this trend. In terms of what they do, they're not actually a green energy company. All they are really is more of a traditional energy company. So they're involved in the acquisition and exploration of oil and natural gas in the US. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that TRCH is actually in the middle of a potential reverse merger with Meta Materials. So now I think there is a risky long-term play here. See, the company that they're merging with, Meta Material, they are projecting $300 million a year by 2025 in their sales projection. Now, you might be asking to yourself, why wouldn't you just invest in MMAT, which is Metamaterials stock, or MMATF in the US because it's OTC? See, this company is based out of Canada, and they're looking for a quick NASDAQ listing, which is why they are doing the reverse merger with TRCH. So if you really believe in Metamaterials sales projections, and I happen to based on the industry that they're in, there is a potential for a long-term play on TRCH if and when the merger goes through. Again, for me, as long as it maintains this trend line, I don't mind an entry in TRCH, assuming that I also have a stop limit around the maybe $1.95 range. All right, the last stock that we'll talk about, SIRC. I didn't mention it in my last penny stocks video, but I have done a video on this before and I've talked about it before, but solar integrated roofing. I really like it for two reasons. One being that they're entering the EV charging space, and the second being obviously their involvement with solar, two industries that I think are huge on for 2021 and the horizon beyond. So right now it's currently trading at below $1.20, finding support here. I would monitor this just for a couple of days depending on when you're watching this to see if we can actually find support here, or if we do draw down to the 50-day moving average, which is at around 84 cents. But either way, for the long term, I think SIRC is a monster play, especially if they get their EV charging game off the ground. I will be very hard pressed to believe that a company can remain at the $1.20 range if it is a big player in the EV charging space, especially the commercial and government EV charging space that they're looking to enter. All right, next stock on the list is Sundial Growers, SNDL. This obviously has been an absolute monster, gaining us over 240% before drawing down. Happy to rebuy SNDL here at the 21 EMA. I believe they just legalized marijuana in, I think it's Virginia. Let me look at this. Yes, it is Virginia. So that makes it a total of 15 states now. And as you know, it's just a matter of time before we get federal legalization. But Virginia is actually, from a geographical standpoint, because it's so close to DC, is sort of a symbolic legalization as well. But I do like Sundial here, and just a bonus, I'm also in High Tide, or HITIF, which is still an OTC stock. Let us check this out. Yes, High Tide is up 10% today. I did alert this a few days ago in our private trading group. Again, if you want access, join. Link is in the description below. But High Tide is another one along with Sundial from a penny stock cannabis perspective that I'm really bullish on. And last on the list is an unofficial one. I'll just give an update on this from my, was it the last video or the video before? I did a video on Humble and why I think Humble is going to be a major disruptor in the fintech industry. And they recently did a 1 for 4 split. So it was like a reverse split where they give you 1 share per 4 shares of Tesoro enterprises that you have. Either way, Humble is now up 56% in the last 2 days. The ticker symbol has changed to TSNPD. It used to be TSMP. Now the reverse split also gives it a price point where it is now potentially eligible to be listed on the major exchanges, as opposed to just remaining an OTC stock. From my standpoint, if you're not already in Humble, I think it is just a long-term play. I think it has run up so hot at the moment from when we talked about it that you might be hard-pressed to find value in it in the short term, but I would buy this for the long term. I did a whole video on it that I will link here if you want to go into my full DD on it, on why I'm very bullish on Humble, especially based on the conservative valuation that they are giving it at $500 per customer. Anyway, traders, that is it for this video. Leave a big fat thumbs up if you got anything out of this video. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these penny stocks you are trading. Sign up if you want access to our private trading group below. Also, there is a little join button. A lot of you guys ask me, what is that join button below the video? That is just a YouTube membership, which just helps the channel out. Now, what I like to do, because I don't want to leave you guys hanging, obviously it's not like joining the full-on trading group where we have 5,000 traders involved in that group, but I will send out a watch list, or I do send out a watch list every Sunday for anyone who just supports the channel if they are part of that little join button group there. I send out my full watch list and my penny stocks watch list every Sunday to whoever is on that list. So if you want to support the channel, great. If not, I still appreciate your viewership. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.